Good one, thank you guys. Okay, when it comes to launching stars, few casting directors have shaped Australian entertainment quite like Jan Russ.
From Ramsay Street to Hollywood red carpet, she's helped turn unknown faces into global names.
For almost 3 decades, Jan Russ was the casting guru behind Neighbours, giving early breaks to some of Australia's biggest stars.
I was trying to get in and he jumped me.
Kylie Minogue, whose role as Charlene Mitchell turned her into a global pop superstar.
Now I've got everything.
So have I.
Jason Donovan, now one of the world's most in-demand theatre stars.
Who's going to look after your mum when she's well enough to come out of hospital? I mean, you're certainly not up to it, are you?
Guy Pearce, who became an Oscar-nominated Hollywood favourite.
Place you won't feel cold and I'll sing.
Delta Goodrem, now a chart-topping singer and international artist.
He went to all this trouble. Guy, he promised me.
And Margot Robbie, arguably one of the most bankable names at the global box office.
I'm only your favourite woman of all time, Barbie!
Now Jan is lifting the curtain on her star-making career with her new autobiography, What Will the Neighbours Think? Spilling behind-the-scenes secrets from 26 years on Aussie TV's most famous street and the private pain of her own tumultuous real-life story.
And casting guru Jan Russ joins us live from Melbourne. Hi, Jan. Nice to see you.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, Larry and Kylie. It's lovely to be here.
And lovely to see you. Your memoir lifts the curtain on the workings behind one of Australia's biggest TV shows. Did you ever sit back and think about the scale of what you helped create?
Well, no, I mean, we didn't when we started off. We just hoped that it was going to be successful in Australia. But when it hit the UK, it was, I mean, we were shocked. We never expected that at all. But, of course, we were absolutely thrilled with what happened, that it became such a phenomenal success and one of Australia's most loved shows.
You know what we'd love to do here on The Morning Show? We love to do some name dropping, so let's go. There's some classic vision online of Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan's original Neighbours audition tapes.
Oh, my goodness,
with you
wow.
reading to them. This is incredible. Let's have a look.
That's not true.
Don't lie, Mum. It makes things worse.
Jason Donovan. Hi. Are you Daphne?
That's right.
Scott Robinson told me to see you about a job.
Oh, yeah, you're Mike.
When you see that, first up, do you remember that?
Oh, yes, I do. I do. I remember Jason coming in. He'd come straight from school. He was at De La Salle College, and as you can see, he's in his school uniform there. And, you know, the usual sort of boy after school, he's a bit smelly and all that sort of thing, you know. And Kylie, she came in, she was so shy and sweet, but they both had an incredible presence. And when you watched them on the monitor, I mean, you went, yeah, they have really got something. And they had the talent and they just had a wonderful natural ability. And what's proven is they've gone on to be such great successes in their careers. And, I just feel so honoured and proud. I just love them.
Hey, great stuff. What about Guy Pearce? You once called him a bit of a dark horse. That was early on. What stood out to you about him? Can you even define it, or is it just there's just something about them?
Yeah, well, to me, Guy, there was always something more in there that he really hadn't given us yet. And I just really felt that a little more life's experience and all that, he would really come out to be a wonderful actor, which has proven, you know, that's what he's done. But he was always there. He was very quiet and but very passionate about what he was doing. And I mean, you know, the rest is history with him, really.
Yeah.
Now, Hugh Jackman did not end up on Neighbours, but you did cast him. So what's the Hugh Jackman story?
Yes, well, I did audition Hugh and I contracted him. And he rang me one day and said, oh, look, Jan, you know, I've been accepted into WAPA, which is West Australian Performing Academy of Arts. And he said, I've always wanted to do it and, you know, it's really important to me. And I said, okay, because I'd been an actor myself, I understood, and I said, okay, Hugh, I'll let you out of that contract. And I did. After he'd graduated from WAPA, he actually came in and auditioned for me again, and he said, oh, I hope you wouldn't recognise me because, of what I did the contract. But of course I recognise you,
I bet he's always regretted that decision. He could have really been something if he just stuck with you first up. Chris Hemsworth, look at all these names, another name from your casting days.
Yes,
but we hear you really had to fight for him, yeah?
Well, actually, I actually cast the three Hemsworth brothers in the show during that time. But Chris, I really fought for him. They wanted to write him out. And,
You're right, we can still see you.
Yeah.
Oh, right. They wanted to write him out. And I said, no, this guy's really got something. I said, no, we've got no sort of future storylines for him. We really need to, write him out. And I said, no, you're really going to regret this. This is not the right thing to do. And I really fought for him as much as I could, but they still wrote him out. And, of course, then Home and Away picked him up, and the rest is history.
And the rest is history. Yeah. We're going to talk Margot Robbie.
Yes.
Like, do you remember the first time she walked in? What do you remember about the early days of Margot?
Well, I do remember she rang me, and she apparently had rung me a few times to get through to me, and she did get through to me this day. And I said to her, how old are you? And she said, I'm 17. I said, I'm looking for a 17-year-old. I want you to come in and see me. And I can remember sitting in my office, seeing her walking towards me and thinking, oh, my God, this girl has an amazing presence. And I think that's one of the secrets, they've got to have that presence. It's someone, I've been asked this question so many times, what is it? But it's an inner quality that people have. And I thought, she's got this presence. And I auditioned her, and of course the camera adored her. Yeah. She had that natural ability again. And once again, she was a very clever, intelligent young lady as well, and which is proven in what she's done,
With her own production company now, absolutely, producing movies.
Absolutely. She's done amazing things, as has Kylie. I mean, very intelligent young people.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, your memoir also touches on something very personal that you carried privately for many years. Talk us through that.
Yes, well, I had a child, a daughter, taken for adoption, and this was in the early 60s. And my boyfriend wasn't prepared to commit, and he actually put me on the train to go to Sydney, and I was terrified. When I went up there, I ended up at the even trying to commit suicide. I ended up at the Mater Hospital where other unmarried girls were, and I'm sorry, I still get emotional, of course, even all these many years later. And the way we were treated back then was appalling, and the lies we were told. And, I even had, when I was having contractions, the nurse came in and shoved a mask on my face and told me to shut up because I was making too much noise. And there was a woman with her husband in the next cubicle trying to have a baby. And that was just one of the many things. But I've written quite a lot about it in the book because it was important to let people know what really went on, because we were told never to talk about it ever again, to keep it quiet. And we as mothers were shoved under the carpet. And even when I had to sign the adoption papers, which I didn't want to do, I was under duress and I was forced to do it. So it really was a blight on Australia's history of what was done to young Australian women back then, many who ended up turning to alcohol, drugs, all sorts of things, committing suicide. It was a terrible, awful time. And it's a pain that lives with you forever.
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah, and this is what you've written about in your memoir. So all of your rich tapestry of your life is in this memoir. Jan, you're no longer working in the casting world, but for those actors maybe hoping to get a big break as we say goodbye, what are your tips for nailing an audition? What advice do you give to young people these days?
Well, I do have a few young ones say to me, well, what do I do? It's not easy to get an audition these days, but, I mean, really you still have to go and learn your craft. it's really important to learn your craft and to listen and to persevere. And if you have the passion, the true passion, that's what gets you through everything. You've got to have your passion for your craft, learn your craft, and as I say, persevere and contact people, let people know that you're available, what you're doing, all that sort of thing. It's important to make people aware of what you're up to, and do anything and everything you can. I mean, I tried every side of the industry. I learned every side of the industry I possibly could. I was a floor manager. I did production secretary work. I did directing. I did all sorts of things because I loved being in the industry and I wanted to learn everything I could, and I think that's important.
All right, Jan, one thing we know for sure is if you saw our audition for this show, our first one, you would have rejected us flatly. You would have seen us walking in the room and go, we would have walked in the studio and your little spidey senses would have gone, they've got nothing going on here. Jan, so lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you,
Jan Russ's autobiography is called What Will the Neighbours Think? It's all in there and it's out now.